In the world of nunsploitation, the convent becomes a stage for the unholy. Lust, cruelty, possession, rebellion, nothing was off limits. Mostly made in the 1970s in Italy and Japan, these films shocked censors, thrilled audiences, and left a trail of controversy behind them. A convent, 2 orphan girls, and a possession that spirals into chaos. Alucarda is one of the most frenzied cult horror films ever made. Directed by Juan López Moctezuma, this Mexican shocker delivers black mass orgies, exorcisms, flagellation, and even a nude vampire rising from a coffin of blood. The nuns wear gauze-like wraps, adding to the film's dreamlike unreality. But behind the spectacle lies rebellion. Denied support by the Mexican film industry, Moctezuma used the film to attack religious and political oppression. The church becomes a symbol of cruelty, the possessed girls, victims of control. Alucarda may not follow traditional narrative logic, but it doesn't need to. This Italian film tells the story of a woman condemned to a convent as a child and broken by its regime. Flavia grows into someone who refuses to stay silent. She questions why women are forced to obey, why humiliation is treated as virtue. When she witnesses a brutal punishment, something in her shifts, and she begins to wait. And when Muslim forces invade the coast, she doesn't run. She returns with them to destroy everything that once crushed her. The violence in this film is harsh, but not sensational. It doesn't shock for attention. It wounds. The convent is joyless. The world outside offers no safety. Revenge becomes the only form of power left. Despite the taglines and covers it's often sold under, this isn't typical exploitation. There's little sex, no glamour, and no catharsis, just pain, rage, and fire. Another Italian entry, and not the last one on this list. At a Catholic hospital, Sister Gertrude is trying to recover from brain surgery. But instead of healing, she's unraveling. She steals morphine, lashes out at patients, has sex with strangers, and begins to suspect she's responsible for a string of violent deaths. Played by Anita Ekberg, once a screen icon in films like La Dolce Vita, the character is far removed from glamour. Her performance is icy and unpredictable, moving between control and total collapse. The setting is sterile and cold. The violence is abrupt. Hallucinations, drug trips, and religious imagery bleed together as Gertrude's world falls apart. This Japanese film follows a young woman who joins a convent to uncover the truth about her mother's death. What she finds behind the walls is cruelty masked as devotion, punishments disguised as rituals, and a secret tied to her own birth. Visually, it's stunning. The camera lingers on blood-stained robes, angular shadows, and silent corridors lined with watching nuns. Torture scenes unfold like set pieces, bodies in motion, petals in the air, crosses looming on the wall. And the beauty only makes the violence hit harder. It's brutal, but never clumsy. The film isn't interested in realism, it's interested in impact. Few films manage to be this graceful and this blasphemous at the same time. Japan did it better. The third Italian film on our list, The Other Hell, also released as Guardian of Hell, follows a priest sent to a remote convent to investigate signs of demonic possession. What he finds is far worse. Nuns bleed from stigmata, corpses vanish, and something evil waits below the chapel floor. Things spiral fast. A nun performs self-mutilation to close the gates of hell. A demonic cat prowls the halls, and mannequins start replacing bodies. One sister believes the female body is cursed and acts accordingly. The film is loud, chaotic, and completely unrestrained. The music doesn't match, the logic breaks down, and none of that matters. It's exploitation cinema at full throttle. delirious, blasphemous, and impossible to look away from. Much like the other hell, this film begins with a priest arriving at a remote convent to investigate a case of demonic possession. But the similarities end there. The last man who tried, a fellow priest, was burned at the stake. Now he must face Mother Joan, whose stillness masks something far more dangerous than it seems. The film unfolds in stark black and white, with silence, shadows, and bare spaces replacing spectacle. There are no special effects, no grand rituals. Instead, horror creeps through glances, pauses, and whispered doubts. As the priest grows closer to Mother Joan, the line between salvation and damnation begins to blur. His faith wavers. Her soul may not be the only one at risk. Made in Poland, this is a film of restraint and atmosphere, psychological rather than supernatural, and more terrifying for it. Probably the most well-known film on this list, The Devils drops us into 17th century France, where Cardinal Richelieu is determined to crush Protestant resistance and tear down the fortified cities that protect it. In Loudun, one priest stands in the way, Urbain Grandier, eloquent, defiant, and deeply flawed. Charismatic and openly sexual, Grandier has no shortage of admirers, including Sister Joan, a hunchbacked nun consumed by lust and jealousy. When she learns he's secretly married, she breaks and accuses him of witchcraft. Soon, a traveling exorcist arrives. The convent descends into public hysteria. Ken Russell directs with total fury. The visuals are theatrical and violent, the tone blasphemous, the message unapologetically anti-clerical. An uncut version of The Devils is still notoriously hard to find. And again, an Italian film, this time from Lucio Fulci, best known for his nightmarish zombie horrors. Demonia blends nunsploitation with the undead, as a team of archaeologists accidentally awaken a coven of heretic nuns executed centuries ago. Soon, the visions start. Then, the killings. Demonia is far from Fulci's best work, but it's an odd and bloody take on the subgenre. And finally, another Japanese entry. This one far less elegant than School of the Holy Beast, but just as extreme. After surviving sexual assault and being abandoned by her husband, a young woman joins a convent seeking refuge. What she finds instead is ritual abuse, voyeuristic priests, and a horrifying climax where she's offered up in a lamb costume during a ceremonial orgy. This film doesn't hold back. There's no artistry to soften the blow, just relentless exploitation. From public humiliation to absurd fetishism, it crosses every line with wide-eyed glee. Unfiltered, disturbing, and brazenly perverse, it's a final reminder that the nunsploitation genre was never meant to play it safe.